reformer a hero.
Okay, that gets
They
me damn chest.
the dominant narrative, the dominant morality. Cultural relativism basically means that morality is decided by culture. I'll explain that picture in a second. Cultural relativism teaches that morality is decided by culture. And so you have culture here, you have culture there. Morality does not transcend above the culture. It's whatever the culture determines. Now, one of the big problems of this is that you have to define what a culture is. But let's just go beyond that. It means that if there is one culture that deems an action evil, it does not mean that this one has to do the same. One action might be celebrated in this culture, and it is renounced. It is evil in another culture. Now, two very big problems with that. The first is that, and I'll go back to the picture, is that you gotta hate reformers. Anyone from Martin Luther to Rosa Parks to Gandhi, Jesus, Buddha, you cannot call any reformer a hero because they opposed the dominant narrative, the dominant morality, the dominant cultural paradigm of that day. And so they are immoral. If there is a culture that believes something and a reformer rises up against it, that person is immoral by nature. And so if you are a cultural relativist, if you're a moral relativist, if you are espousing what Christy is espousing here, I'm sorry, but you cannot have a hero that is a protester at all, because culture is the arbiter of truth. Culture defines truth. You go against culture, you are not true, you are unrighteous, you are not a hero, you are immoral. The second is you cannot at all ever critique another culture's actions. So this is probably the biggest, because if cultures determine morality for themselves, you have to be okay. You have to be okay with Syria doing its thing. You have to be okay with Rwanda, doing the genocide. Okay with all the murders that are going on in, Pakistan and Nigeria right now. It just goes on as you think about. Again, this is where we really have to define what a culture is. Is that a nation? Is that a state? Is that a zip code? What about a home? Is it okay to call, home a culture? If so, then domestic abuse, domestic violence, it's all okay. Anything that happens within the home is okay. You cannot say, who are you? You're a bigot, right? You're on your high horse. You are intolerant. You're doing things that people are doing things that you can't critique. You can't call it evil because it's their culture. So at what point can we judge another one's behavior? We have to celebrate it, which extends to the extremes. The rapist is just seeking pleasure. The child playing in traffic is seeking pleasure. The doctor intentionally drugging patients has justified himself or herself in doing it. And so I would just encourage you to take a test drive in the beliefs that you believe and see what cliff you come off of. If culture determines morality, then it is all about power. It's all about accumulating power. It's all about coercing the minorities. And
morality should be based upon love thy neighbor as thyself.
The video I just played.
For the good of the neighbor, for the good of everybody. There's a lot of times where
Christy will attack the intention of a Christian, but not deal with the arguments of the intention. So she'll talk a lot about how tidy our apologetics are in order to manipulate, in order to gaslight, and that's attacking the intention. It's not dealing with the argument, with the actual apologetics themselves. And so I would just to say, oh my gosh, you're a white Christian male, like you're all about just keeping the power systems in play. Well, that could be what I'm after. It is possible that I've just arrived at an honest interpretation of Scripture in a long line of people who, right now, all across the globe,
Nicole in Maryland, welcome to the Atheist Experience. You are on with Jenna and Matt, and you think we're wrong and that Jesus is important, so here's your opportunity to convince us.
Hi, Nicole.
God fucking damn it.
So, Jesus is important, huh?
Man, she's sure if I spit, I know.
Hello?
Hello? Nicole?
You want to present your case?
Why do you hate Jesus?
Well, I thought you had a case to present. Which was that Jesus is important.
Okay.
Do you actually want to have this conversation? You seem like you're resentful of being here.
I couldn't.
I want to know why he hates Jesus so much.
Oh, I don't hate Jesus. I don't hate.
So, okay, so then tell me.
I don't think. Okay.
Wow.
Come on, you slut! With spit smell. With spit smell. With spit, with the young spit. With spit. With spit. With spit. With spit. With spit. With spit smell. God fucking damn it. Suck my motherfucking dick, you whore. Suck my dick, whore. Come on, you fucking whore. From China and North Vietnam. Fucking whore. I see a dick in your future. I see a dick. God fucking damn it. Dick. Come on, you goddamn motherfucker. Come on, you goddamn motherfucker. Move, you goddamn motherfucker. Stupid fucker. Now fuck if you don't move that fucking phone over there, you slut. Or I'll stick my dick up that pone's butt. God damn it. Come on, you goddamn dick sucker. This really fucking pissing me off. God fuck it. Move that goddamn whore right here. Finally got a fucking castle. God fucking damn it. Come on, you goddamn motherfucker. Suck my dick, you fucking bitch. God fucking damn it. God damn it. Suck my dick. God damn it. Jesus fucking Christ.
Speaking in another language.
Albert son of a Corvac son of a Vuda Oxford. Vuda Oxford. God fucking damn it. God fucking damn it. God damn it. Suck my motherfucking dick, you motherfucking bitch. God fucking damn it. Jesus fucking Christ. Jesus fucking Christ. Jesus fucking goddamn Christ. Jesus fucking Christ. Jesus fucking Christ. Jesus goddamn cunt fucking Christ. Jesus fucking Christ. Jesus fucking Christ.
Let's go with Nancy first. Nancy from Nevada, you're live on Truth Wanted. What's up?
Not familiar at all with him. You have a Christian guest on today?
I know, Nancy, I know. It's been a minute. We used to do this. We did this a little bit more, but yes, Tim's a cool guy, so you know, he's got a seat at the table.
Oh, I was watching the wrong show.
That's right. That's right.
Jesus Christ.
Well, let's see what he says to your call here, because you said you want to know how to talk to somebody who claims to have been face
Jesus
healed.
fucking Christ.
Not exactly.
Okay. Okay.
Jesus.
I'm trying to work with the delay. I belong to a discussion group with people of diverse religious viewpoints.
Nicole in Maryland, welcome to the Atheist Experience. You are on with Jenna and Matt, and you
I don't want to
think we're wrong.
shit.
Yeah.
Oh, well, you're on the air. I couldn't.
I want to know why he hates Jesus so much.
Let's see if she smells
Oh, I
like
don't
a
hate Jesus. I don't hate.
So, okay, so then tell me.
I don't think. Okay.
Wow.
I don't hate Jesus
Easy.
because I don't think
Emily.
Jesus exists.
No, okay.
She smells like an
Why?
easy Emily.
Because there's no evidence that Jesus exists. Just now, maybe he existed once upon a time, but I don't hate him. I just don't think that he's a divine creature.
Ever know if he Right, but he was gone way before we even were here on the planet, so I'm not understanding how you can even judge a person.
Well, I can only judge what's written in the Bible, because
He brings happiness and love throughout your life, and you just sit there and you're a jerk.
You seem to be taking this very personally.
Yeah, I am.
Okay.
May I ask why?
Yeah, talk to Jenna, because clearly I'm a jerk, and all I want to know is...
A lot of life, and God has been there for me, and it's just very powerful experiences. It comes from the heart. It's not like things you can say in word. It's just in the heart and how it makes you feel.
Okay, so I can understand that this right. Jesus, idea of Jesus, or evidence of Jesus, or this brought you some solace, right? Some peace, some.
I wouldn't be here without him, sure.
Okay, so what if I were to tell you that may not have been? What if it wasn't Jesus? What if it was you? What if it was a combination of?
I agree with you because I don't.
Well, I'm not making any statements. I'm literally just asking.
No.
Well, no. Hold on. You're gonna mute for just a second. What I'm saying is, I'm not trying to tell you anything. I'm trying to get you. Oh, did she just hang up?
No, it's muted.
Okay. I'm just trying to get you to consider the possibility that it might be something else. I'm not saying that it is. I'm not telling you that in any way. All I'm asking is for you to just consider for a second that it may have been something else, and if it was, I just want to know your perspective on that. That's all. Oh, so sorry, you're unmuted. Trying to unmute you. Sorry. Okay.
Damn it.
I don't know. I would like to know what that would be like.
Well, so can I make some suggestions of possibilities?
Yeah, please.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I used to think that Jesus was doing the same things for me. For my whole life, I thought that Jesus was there to protect me and to hold me, and that he was what was getting me through the hard times that I was experiencing. But then after just a bit of time and a bit of exposure to just different ideas, I came to the conclusion, and you don't have to come to this conclusion, I came to the conclusion that it was myself that got me through that. And so that's just one possibility. What if that was true? What if it was you that got you through your hard time, and that it was you that was comforting yourself? What if? That's all I'm asking.
I do. I agree. I do.
So what I wonder, Nicole, though, is
like,
Nicole, I wonder, are you familiar with Dumbo and Dumbo's magic feather?
Yes.
Yeah, so they gave Dumbo this magic feather, except there was no magic in the feather.
Yeah.
Magic was in Dumbo the whole time. So how do we tell the difference between how can you or I tell the difference between whether Jesus is helping you or whether you are helping you and crediting Jesus? How do we tell the difference?
I don't know.
I don't either, but you're the one.
I'm not saying you're wrong.
Nicole.
Right? I'm just saying I'm halfway.
Nicole, what I'm saying is you called in to ask why I'm mad at Jesus, why I hate Jesus, and now you're saying that you don't know how to tell the difference between whether you're helping you or whether Jesus is helping you. But you called in and seemed to be convinced that it was Jesus that's helping you, and that we're just dense for not recognizing this. And now we've gotten to the point, and this is wonderful, that where we agree, I don't know how to tell the difference between Jesus helping you and you helping you crediting Jesus. But at a minimum, can you see why I don't have a reason to believe in Jesus?
Are you done?
I asked a question.
I mean, like I said, it's either A or B. I'm trying to find that out. The title was to tell you, like, why do you hate Jesus? Because that's what I've heard about this show, is you guys don't believe.
Stop going with what you've heard. Stop going with what you've heard.
I don't know.
About this. Stop. Nicole, listen. Listen, Nicole. Nicole, listen. No, you're not. You're talking. When you listen, your mouth is closed. If you are listening to what people have said about the show rather than judging it for yourself, that's a mistake. And if you're listening to what people say about Jesus instead of judging it for yourself based on evidence, that's a mistake. But if you recognize that you can't tell the difference between you helping yourself or Jesus helping you, then you at least should also be able to recognize that Jenna and I can't tell the difference between Jesus helping you and you helping you. I have no evidence of anything in your life at all. And so if our position is just, hey, I don't believe that there's a Jesus who's actually doing anything to help you, what is the evidence for it? And your response is, I can't present any evidence, I can't even make this decision myself. All I'm asking is, do you understand why we wouldn't have reason to believe?
Jesus
Yes, I
fucking
do.
Christ.
Yeah, that's it.
great. That's really cool of you, to be honest. I really appreciate that.
I mean, I do apologize. I'm just trying to let it
No
out there.
problem. No,
I know.
all of these conversations are potentially contentious because this is important to you. This is about who you are.
Me
It's
too.
cool. Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So would you like to evaluate how we can know things like that? Because I came to that same point in my journey. I came to discover I didn't know whether to... Go ahead.
No.
So yeah, I came to the same point in my journey where I discovered that I didn't know how to tell if it was reasonable to believe that I did something or whether Jesus was doing it. So Matt happens to be a really good guy at helping people evaluate their logic. Do you want to start into that?
Yeah. It's because, like I said, I'm halfway. I mean, you can believe in God and you can be X, Y, Z, like whatever. And it's like, you know, I could drive home from work and get in a car crash, or this could happen, and we don't know if God wants to stop that, or if whoever is there to stop that. It's just, we don't know if it actually exists. And you guys do have a valid point.
So the thing is, if we don't know,
You do.
if we don't know, then I can't believe something unless I have a good reason for it. Now, granted, I don't know if you know this because I don't know if you know this, Nicole, but because you heard about this in the show, I was a fundamentalist Christian, Southern Baptist, walked down the aisle at the age of 5 at a revival, accepted Jesus into my heart, was active in the church, led youth group stuff, was studying with the intention of being a minister when I found my way out of this, when I found out I didn't have a good reason to believe it. And for 16 years now, I've been hosting this show, asking people regularly, tell me what you believe and why, present the evidence for your belief. And in the entire time of that show, and in the entire history of the world, no one has ever been able to demonstrate an evidence-based case that there is a God, or that there's anything supernatural, or that the supernatural is in any way impacting the life we have. I understand that people believe it, and I kind of understand why many people believe it. First of all, it is terrifying to admit you don't know something. It is also terrifying to think, gosh, what's going to happen to me after I die? I don't know, and these religions say I should be this. But if that's the case, how do you pick which religion to follow? Do you seek the best heaven, or do you try to avoid the best hell? Wouldn't it be better to say, I can't pick a religious belief because none of them have met their burden of proof. And if there is a God that's going to punish me or reward me after death, why not begin with the assumption that he's going to punish or reward me based on an honest intellectual pursuit of the truth, rather than believing whatever somebody told me because I'm afraid? Why would God want you to be afraid?
You know what? What you just said was perfect. And you were absolutely right. I'm just like blown away because I mean, God is good, but we don't know. How are we supposed to know?
Yeah, and not to blow your mind completely.
That was a great example. Yeah.
I should shut up now, Nicole, but I'm gonna try and blow your mind one more time, and that's this. If you bought into the Christian
I'm
God,
sorry for being like this. Like, you guys, it's cool.
No. If you bought into the Christian God, you like many of us, like me, like Jenna, and everybody else, I believe God was the good one and Satan was the evil one, right?
Right.
How did you decide which one was good and which one was evil? Because if God wrote on your heart that he's the good one, then you're going to believe he's good whether he's evil or not. And if you look at the book, who kills more people? Who does more ridiculous stuff? And in my mind, it's just a lot easier to look at the book and go, this is the mistaken thoughts of men. There's nothing behind this. There's not a good God. There's not an evil God. This is man's attempt to control human behavior, to fill in the gaps in our knowledge, to make it easier to struggle with our mortality and with our fear and with our ignorance. And it did a decent job at some stuff, and it did terrible at other things by sanctioning slavery and misogyny and not allowing women to have property or forcing rapists to marry their rape victims. There's so many things that are problematic in the books. And if there were a God, and the book is immoral, and people got the book wrong, why hasn't God shown up to say, that's not me, that's not what I said, that's not what I believe?
Amen.
And since no God has come forward to correct any of this, isn't it more likely that we are fumbling through a universe that happened to produce us and doesn't care about us, and it's up to us to care about us. It's up to us to fix our problems. This is why I'm a secular humanist, because even if there is a God, which I can't demonstrate, there's no reason to think that this God intervenes or cares or does anything on our behalf, which means when Jenna needs a ride to the hospital when she's giving birth, it's on me to do that as her friend if nobody else is available. It's not like she can pray and God's going to miracle her ass to the hospital. Even if she was still a believer, that's not going to happen. And so, for me, until there's evidence that there is a God, I can't believe that there is one. But I can live a life based on this notion that people are valuable because we share our lives, and what I do impacts you, and what you do impacts me. I want you, Nicole, making rational decisions and working alongside of us to make the world better, whether you believe in a God or not. But I don't know how that can happen.
Well, let's do it. I'm ready.
All right.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Nicole.
Awesome. You guys are great. Thank you so much.
Move on. Let's talk to Jerry in Missouri. Jerry, you're live with Eric and Daryl. How are you doing?
Hey, Jerry. I'm doing great, Eric. It's nice to hear your voice.
Oh, shucks.
Yeah, I've listened to probably 20, 25 of your episodes in the last couple weeks or so, and
Oh, I'm so sorry.
Binge watch.
really happy to get on. So I'm sorry.
I said, I'm so sorry. Hopefully it wasn't the early stuff.
I guess I'm not catching that. Some of the early stuff.
No worries.
So it's whatever they, how YouTube will suggest that you have things come up. That's the way it was. It come up, and I started watching it.
Well,
I
cheers
listened
to
to it, I
that.
should say. Well, hey, hold.
What'd you want to talk about?
Well, Eric, part of the conversation today, while I've been sitting here on hold, is really troubling. Of course, I'm a believer. I believe in the God of the Bible, the common United States kind of Bible. I believe you haven't heard the full story of the Bible. You haven't totally understood. Like, one of the things, your guest today, and I don't think I've seen him on one of yours yet, but one of the things he brought up today was hell. That's a very traumatic thing. And guess what? You need to go back and relook at it. It's not true. What does the most famous verse in the world say? John 3:16 gives us two choices.
Well, hold on a second.
Eternal life, or, are you going to look it up?
No, I know John 6. I know John 3:16.
I'm about to feel kind of honored there, because very few people you open the book for.
No, well, for God so loved the world that he gave his only forgotten Son, that whoever believeth in him shall not perish but have everlasting life.
Perish?
Right?
What's perish mean?
Dude.
It doesn't say shall not burn
Jerry.
forever and ever in hell.
Jerry.
It says shall not perish.
Jerry, aren't you cherry picking though?
Oh no, that's
So what about the wailing and gnashing of teeth? Because I'm pretty sure that was Jesus.
Gnashing teeth. Okay, so just because there's not an eternal burning hell doesn't mean there's not a fire that's going to consume at the end of the age. Okay, this fire burns you up totally.
So
There is still a hell, but it's hotter than normal, is what people's taught. Their hell just tortures them. Okay, the hell of the Bible it'll annihilate you. It burns you up. It leaves you neither root or branch, is what it talked about in Malachi.
Here's my question for you, Jerry. How do you know that?
Well, of course, you have have to go back to the Bible.
Why?
We know that because of Hebrews 11:6 is of faith, right?
No.
That's not good enough. Just because you have faith, I've heard enough of your shows.
Yes.
I'm going to go real quick.
Sure. So why should I open the book?
Thank you for asking. The reason for opening the book, you know how, because like I said, it boils back down to faith no matter what. But here's the closest, I have to give you a closest example you're going to get.
Okay.
Part of me wants to believe that you really still kind of, if you could get enough evidence, you might would look at it.
Well,
Part of me is like on the fence whether or not you're just trying to destroy Christians, you know?
Oh gosh, no, I don't want to
It's
feed that
there.
persecution complex. No, but Jerry, before you do, I want to make sure that we're using the same words, that we're not talking past each other. You said it all boils down to faith. What is faith?
Well, you know, the typical Bible definition, I believe that one in Hebrews 11.
Okay, so are you going to go with the evidence of things not
Sure.
right?
Exactly.
So what does that mean?
Yeah.
So, and I don't mean that sarcastically, right? There's a term that Daniel Dennett came up with, deepity.
Yeah,
And
right.
it's something that sounds very, very profound until you actually want to use it, and it kind of falls apart. And when it comes to that definition of faith in particular, it falls apart. It doesn't really have very much linguistic use. It doesn't have very much to offer as far as giving us definitions for things. And so far, I haven't seen a compelling argument that justifies that definition. And so let's make sure that when we're talking about faith, right, Jerry, is faith a good thing to have?
I find it to be in my life, yes.
Okay, is it a good thing to have in general? Kind of a Kantian, you know,
Spit.
I'm kind of, is that...
I see a dick in your future. I see a dick. I see a dick in your future. I see a dick.
So it sounds really important.
I see a dick in your future. I see a dick.
Sure. So, I mean, one of the things that we could do is we could point out the abundance of other religions that are right contrary. Yeah, that have that same kind of answer. And kind of before we dive into that, because that is where I want to go. I don't want you to think I'm bringing up on here. Is the first thing I do is I want to make sure that we're talking about faith in a way that
I fuck it.
dialogue about it. And then after that, how is faith useful to you, and how do you separate it from other religions that use that same word? Right. You know what I mean?
Shit.
Okay. Yeah. Of
I'm gonna
course.
slant that whore from
I know
China.
where you believe about. I may be moving back on too soon. You may have somewhere else you wanted to say there.
Come on, you whore.
No, go ahead, man. We're doing well. So
You slut that
again,
slut.
and I want to make sure that I'm not, gish galloping all over you.
Fat under
when
the
I'm
eyes,
boiling this down to
fat
right now.
under the eyes,
What
whore.
is faith? Why should we have it? And how do we get there? So first off, what is faith?
Suck my slut.
I can tell you from my experience how I got there because
Suck my
had
slut.
nothing to do with the Bible.
It actually doesn't
and I
matter.
decided to try to read it.
Well, it doesn't matter to me how you got there, and I mean that in a very empathetic way, because when I give you a definition of any other word, I don't need to show you how I got there. I just give you the definition of the word. And so I have a competing definition for faith, and that is belief without evidence. I find that to be a very useful definition. Would you agree that faith is belief without evidence for the purposes of this conversation?
Sure. Yes, I'll go there with that.
Okay. So
I wanted to point out to you that there's
suck my
scriptures that almost violate that rule.
Fucking
It's like he tells you that, hey, you can only, succeed in this is if you have faith. But then there's a few scriptures that like almost borderline pushes that faith thing. And to me, in my study of it, it's like, this is evidence. This is no longer faith almost anymore.
Suck
It's
my
like, God, what are you doing here? You're giving us so much.
Suck
Is
my
this faith
goddamn
anymore, or is this hard fact?
Well,
And that's what I was going to try to bring up to you.
Suck my
I'm
goddamn
definitely happy to talk about it. I just want to make sure that we're going into it in a way that we're not going to talk over each other or talk past each other. You seem like a really, really nice guy, Jerry. I don't think you're going to talk over me, but talking past each other would be the problem here. So, believing something without evidence.
One of those pieces is
Being
gonna
rather
kiss my
problematic,
ass.
couldn't you?
Oh, yeah. I mean, yeah.
Kiss my
10
dick.
years ago. Yeah.
Kiss my dick.
I'll give you an example.
Dick.
Yesterday, did you ever follow the flat earther type stuff? There was a guy.
Yeah, I looked at that for a little bit. Yeah.
Yeah, there was a dude who was convinced, and that the Earth is flat. He built himself a stupid so that he could shoot 5,000 feet up into the air and get a lay of the land, and try to see if he could view the curvature of the Earth. He did that about a year ago, and he repeated that stunt yesterday. Yeah, he died yesterday.
Ha 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 ha! Stupid fucker.
Well, it definitely.
Stupid.
It's sad because
stupid fucker.
We operate with the best tools that we have available.
Now fucking remove this
try
thing
and
on
make
here.
sure that we're very discriminating in those tools because we want to apply the best that we can to it. And so it boils down to faith. So I don't think we need to open the book at all. Because I think that if it all boils down to faith, I think the important thing to do is show me why faith is useful. Because right now, belief something without evidence gets shot in the desert like that gentleman yesterday.
Kiss my dick.
Well, remember how I just told you?
And James Craven, my brother, used to say, kiss my dick.
To me, it's no longer faith. And if you had the patience to listen to them, you might would think it's no longer faith either. And I know that sounds crazy using the Bible to prove the Bible, but this is a different way. I know you wrote it off a while ago when I said something about, it's very traumatic about hell. Somebody that gets taught that they're going to burn through the ceaseless ages of eternity, that's traumatic and it's not true. I know you said that's true. That's true. You're putting trauma on people versus the truth of somebody that's not going to burn through the ceaseless ages of eternity. That's just one example. People have so many excuses.
Jerry, can I ask a question of clarification here? How is your use of faith different than the use of faith of Muslims who have just as much faith, or Jehovah's Witnesses who seem to me have a hell of a lot of faith, probably as much as you've got? Yeah, so
and I don't understand how some of them have the faith they have. These regular Christians that call in, 90% of them, how do they have so much faith not knowing the things that they should know about the Bible? And that's where I pull back down to. The Holy Bible is the only one that has prophecy.
So
and how you feel about prophecy.
A billion other people, so far right now, what I'm hearing is a billion people have a different faith than you do, and they're just as faithful, but you seem to have some secret. And I think that's kind of what Eric's getting at. You seem to have some secret that nobody else seems to be able to understand.
Oh no, it's not just me. Okay.
Okay. Well, very few people.
What percentage? Out on the edge. There's 20 million people at least worldwide that believe like me.
Okay. Well, let's give it 20 million people that's got the secret.
That's a small number.
It's very small compared to 7 billion people on the planet now. So, help us understand that secret, because I haven't figured out how your secret's different than the Jehovah's Witnesses or the Muslims or the Hindus or the Buddhists.
Well, like I said, prophecy. I know you won't open the book, but in Daniel, I know y'all have studied this somewhat, but I've read it. Don't understand hell.
Well, I've read it cover to cover.
A person can read it and not understand it. You remember Daniel, chapter 7?
Hold on.
Tells what the first country would be.
Jerry.
The first beast.
Jerry. Well, hold on a second, man. Hold on.
Okay.
So we're going back just a little bit, right? About you said something about the Bible that got me. You were talking about prophecy. Do you think that there are any other religions that have prophecy in their holy books, or do you think that yours is the only one?
Ours is the only one.
Yeah, that is not.
You examine it. The vagueness of it. Oh, they claim to have it, but if you actually study them,
well, so
vagueness of it.
They're all claims. They're all.
Come on, you slut!
Let's continue. You also recognize
you Chinese slut that slut. You Chinese slut that whore.
The King James Bible.
Correct.
Okay, so
yeah, they have their own version.
Yeah, they call it the Silver Sword.
Suck my slut.
But
suck my slut.
That it is mostly intact. Those same prophecies would be in their version of the Bible as well. So I don't know how that justifies your version of religion over theirs if your justification is something that they have as well. And
you won't unless you're willing to listen.
well, even if it was, though, because I don't want to be dishonest here. Even if it was, let's say I granted to you that the Bible is the only book that ever had prophecies in it, right?
Okay.
How do you go about verifying a prophecy?
Searching it and looking at the history books to confirm it.
Okay.
The Bible says that Babylon was the first thing. That's the first thing I did. I read this dream and said, Nebuchadnezzar. I'm like, well, was this really a king? Because I'm really skeptical. So I had to figure out, was Nebuchadnezzar really a king? I found out, yeah, he really lived 605 BC. Okay.
So,
And the next thing is what happened with the Medes and Persians.
well, so the thing is, I'm not arguing with you about whether or not Nebuchadnezzar lived. I'm wondering whether or not Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego got tossed into the oven. Right? I'm not arguing a lot of the.
Changing the subject a little.
No. Because the thing is,
the same story.
Yeah, you're bringing up things that I don't like. I'm talking about the magic claims, right? Whether or not an itinerant rabbi named Yeshua lived 2,000 years ago doesn't matter to me as much as the claims that somebody walked on water, was raised from the dead, spit in someone's eye, and cured their blindness, that they cured leprosy, and that there are events where, donkeys can talk, and where demons are cast into animals. I mean, there are so many supernatural claims that those are the ones that I'm pointing at. So let me give you an example. I've got the Book of Eric, right? Now, if you've seen the show, I'm sure you've seen me pull out the Book of Eric.
Oh, yeah.
Right? And so one of my examples is that I say, in my book, it says 2 + 2 = 4, and I can fly like Superman. Well, I can prove to you 2 + 2 = 4, so does that necessarily mean that the other claim is true?
Like I said, if you're not willing to listen, then there's nothing that I or God can do for you.
Well, I am.
You're not willing to rehear those prophecies. I know you read it, but just because you have one interpretation of it doesn't mean you've heard the correct one. Just like people thinking God burns people through eternity.
Well, so
God is love, but yet He's going to burn you through the ceaseless ages of eternity. Does that even make sense? Within the first 2 pages of the Bible, it tells you how He made the world and that He rested the 7th day, which is Saturday. How many people in the world listen to that? That alone, just within 2 pages, people are going to have no excuse. They should go find a church that meets on Saturday. How are they going to get past that? That clears up 99% of the confusion in religion if you just do what you read.
Jerry,
There's 610 commandments you're not following in the Old Testament, because Jesus said, I come to fulfill the law and I don't change a jot or a tittle of the law. And you're not following those 610. Am I correct?
Now, you've got to realize which of the 610 that pointed to Him coming. Okay, so
you're gonna move the goalpost again?
There's no need to sacrifice the lamb anymore.
Every time we give you some evidence of a different viewpoint, you move the goalposts. It's rather difficult. I am from Kansas City, and we won the Super Bowl this year, thankfully. But nobody moved the goalposts. We all knew what the goalposts were. We knew where the goalpost was, how far it was, how much effort it's going to take to get there.
Yeah.
And what I find about this kind of discussion is you never know where the goalpost is. Because no matter what you say, you can find a different goalpost to say, oh, but that's the goalpost, not this one.
I tried to start off in one place, but you all don't want to hear that. You don't want to open the book to be able to read the verses and compare it to history books and find out that it actually happened.
So actually,
that's as simple as you can get it. What good is the book if you can't open it up and find out what's happening in the world?
Jerry,
throw the Bible away.
I have. Jerry, what I'm actually trying to go past that, right? Because what I'm doing in this argument right now is I'm not arguing the individual verses. I'm saying, okay, I'm going to grant you whatever it is that you're going to bring up out of the Bible. Right? Whatever it is. We can talk about it. Whatever you want to bring up. The thing is, what tools are we applying to it? And how can we tell that it is true? And so when I brought up the book of Eric, 2 + 2 = 4, and I can fly like Superman.
God damn it.
The reason I bring that up is because a lot of people who want to talk about prophecy will say, hey, here's a thing that points to something that is real. That's how we know that it's true. Right? And I can, and the example that people said, Spider-Man has New York in it. And therefore, the existence of New York points towards the existence of Spider-Man.
God,
and that doesn't necessarily follow. And so
the book to prove that, right? I get that. That makes logical sense there. You're speaking common sense. That makes sense.
It's not common sense, actually. I wish it was, but it's not. I agree with you. So Jerry, where I'm going here is I want to talk about the supernatural claims, because whether or not somebody lived 2,000 years ago, I don't care. I care whether or not this hell is real and this heaven is real.
Why can't I tell you what's different?
Well, because I want to give you
your example. Just because your New York is there doesn't prove Spider-Man.
Right, because I want to give you the tools that will work to convince you. Jerry, I want to give you...
The Bible says Babylon, Medo-Persia, Greece, Rome, and and it happened that way? That knocked my socks off when I learned that. I was like, wow, why are these Christians teaching this? They don't understand it because they misunderstand. And that puts a whole different planet. What they believe in.
I don't
Jesus I believe in, and the Jesus they do.
Your ass is
Mine
gonna
doesn't
be...
learn you to the people on stages of eternity.
One of the things that I take a lot of pride in this show is that I meet people where they're at. I'm not going to hold you to a prior version of Jesus that I have in my head. I'm going to let you present your version so that we can talk about it and talk to each other and not past each other. So whether or not the Jesus that you believe in or the version or the way and interpretation of reading that you have, whether or not that conforms to any other way that's been brought up to me in the past, I don't care. I just want you to bring forward your evidence so we can let it stand or fall on its own merits. And so, I also want to give you the tools, and I want you to have clear guidelines. I want those goalposts to be set well, so we can look at it and go, hey, here's the tools that I'm using, Jerry, and I want to determine whether or not I'm using good tools, and how can we determine whether or not your claim is true, because that's what we're trying to work on, right? So I gave you these examples because you were giving me an example out of the Bible that said Nebuchadnezzar was a real king.
Patty cakes all night long if you're a step way.
I care about whether or not 3 brothers were thrown into a fire and walked out unscathed.
Prove that. But the story about Nebuchadnezzar's dream, there is a way to prove it.
Street whore.
Do you remember his dream?
So
Chapter 2, do you remember his dream?
Jerry, again...
It tells the future. It's a timeline hidden in the Bible.
Oh, this guy's so fucking
stupid. It tells the countries that would come afterward. How... That's not God tell us what countries are going to come after.
Jerry.
What more can he do?
You could do a lot of things. Stop giving kids cancer would be one of them. But let's go back to
nothing to him. He has the power to resurrect. He has the power to heal. That's merely a bruised knee to him.
Yeah, well, why don't you go to a children's oncology ward and tell that to the kids or their families?
Now, I don't know how that looks. I know how it sounds.
Yeah, so let's go back to where we have the goalposts set. Are you saying that the miracle claim in that story is unprovable?
How could you prove it?
I agree. Are there any miracle claims in the Bible that can be true? Are there any miracle claims in the Bible that could be proven?
God.
That's why I'm trying to remember I told you in the very beginning of this, it almost almost violates his rules. The closest you're going to come, these miracle ones about the Jonah and the swallowing the man and all that stuff, you're not going to, if you just use those, you're never going to get there.
So,
because that's not something that's provable. But this is the closest. I'm telling you, how many follows in? They're not going to get you any closer than this.
Okay, so what? Let me grant to you that let's say the historical claims that are entirely unremarkable are true. Let's just grant you that. So what?
Okay, I'll take it.
Okay, cool. Do we get any closer to understanding whether or not that God is real, that miracles can happen, that there's a soul, that you can go to hell, that you can go to heaven, that you should follow any of those commandments, or why you should open the dang book in the first place?
Okay, so...
Has any of that happened if I granted you all of the stuff I just granted you?
That gives you the first step to looking at something else. That's like in Revelation chapter 17, where it talks about this whore, this woman, that's in the world. You should be able to find it in the world. If it's not in the world, if you can't find this whore, you have to do studying whore, a woman in Bible prophecy, the church.
Do you know how many
women... a bad church in our world. We should be able to find it, and it describes it. If you go through Revelation 17, it describes this woman, tells you what she's wearing, tells you how she'll rule over kings. There's no other choice than who it can be. Very clear. So when I see that coupled with the Old Testament stories, it's like, oh man, I can Google this stuff and show you a slideshow and knock your socks off. The proof that's in the Bible, it's just you're not willing to hear it.
I'm also just have different standards, and the standards that I have, I think you should have, Jerry. And those standards are ones that are important. So you're talking, we bumped the goalposts a little bit again. You're bringing up the whore of Babylon, and whether or not the whore of Babylon exists, well, I know that accusation has been tossed around since before the Protestant Reformation. So whether or not there's a whore of Babylon, I know that people have been saying that ever since it's been written down. So no, I don't think it's specific enough, and I think it falls into the same thing that you wrote off Nostradamus or any of those other claims on, is that it is sufficiently ambiguous.
Right. You haven't studied with the right group of people.
I think that if your God really cared...
Why do you think he's having me call you now? What do you think we're on the phone for? This is a chance to reach out to you, Eric.
He would also, if he cared, he would help communicate in a hell of a lot better way than he has to you and the 20 million people that you seem to think agree 100% with you. I want the 6 billion, 7 billion people to be able to understand it. Nobody seems to be able to do it except you.
The devil, if there's a God, there's a devil. And he's much better at making people not understand.
I know, it always amazes me how powerful your devil or your Satan is. He's more powerful than any Yahweh ever was.
Hold on. You're saying there are more magical people? How do you know the devil exists?
Well, I'm saying, if you grant me that there's a God...
No, why would I do that? No! That's silly.
Devil.
Okay, cool. Show me the existence of a devil.
Well, to me, with learning what I know, I look around, you see it all through the world.
No, you don't, because if you could do that, you could point to it and say, Eric, that's the devil.
That's the devil.
Show me.
People misunderstanding God and thinking that he burns you through ceaseless ages of eternity.
You're talking about thought crimes. Jerry, this is the exact type of indoctrination and trauma that causes people to need help in the future. You're talking about thought crimes that you have absolutely zero evidence of. Zero! Why? Why do this to yourself? You seem like a great guy, Jerry. Why are you doing this? Why would you hold up something with zero evidence? Why would you point to bad things in the world and say, that's the evidence of a devil? Show me the devil. Introduce me. Get him on the phone. No, you dove into your book that says that it's true. I have a book that also says that it's true.
The fellow that died this week did as much or more research than you probably ever done on flat Earth. And he was bound and determined to prove his theories correct.
And he proved himself all the way into the desert.
All the way
he should have just pulled up After Live and watched the live feed of the space shuttle, ISS.
I agree.
What's so hard to prove about the world being round?
I agree.
I wanted the world to be flat at one time. I looked at it too because I thought, well, for a little bit the Bible proved it was flat, but that's not true.
The Bible says it's flat, so it proves it's flat, right?
Well, it says there's the firmament and the dome. But regardless.
Yeah.
I understand what they're doing.
Another goalpost move, but okay.
But I will say that, it's interesting talking about the ISS and all of that, because so far as we've been able to send astronauts, we definitely haven't seen any bearded men in the sky. So, if they're invisible, if they're invisible, then they're either indistinguishable from nothing at all, or there still needs work to be done, because right now, your book has not differentiated itself from mine.
Because you won't open it.
I will. That is. Yeah, that's a good one. I like that.
You like that? How many false things have you read so far?
So far, not one false thing.
Yeah.
Dang. Yeah.
Right?
You've written the perfect book. Nobody can argue with a thing. Unfortunately, I didn't write the perfect book. People argue with me, but they will argue with you.
Well, it's because it's blank. But
Eric?
what's up?
Hey, Eric?
Yeah.
Would you be scared to throw a verse out and let me throw a picture to you where you can see it in the world? Throw a verse out, throw a picture out, so you can see it in the world? That sounds like evidence to me. And then you can judge if it's very weighty evidence or if it's just, like most of you here on here.
Sure. Mail at talkheathen.com. Shoot it off to me. I'll take a look and we'll correspond. Sound like a plan?
Sounds great.
All right, man. We've been on this call for a while. I want to make sure we give other people enough time. But this has been good. I like this.
Yeah.
Thank you for
Thanks for calling, Jared.
Take care, Jerry.
Thanks for talking with me.
Yeah, thank you. Take care, man.
Bye.
What do you think?
Well, I think we just went around in 17 circles, but okay.
Yes, but it takes a little bit of zooming out to see the circles.
Yeah, right.
And I'm hoping that I wanted to start with Robert in Long Island. Robert, you're live with Eric and Jamie. How's it going?
Of course you did.
How you doing, Mr. Let's see, it's Mr. Boone and Mr. Murphy then?
That's correct.
Thank you for calling back, Robert.
Yeah.
Very good. Yeah,
you were here from last weekend, aren't you?
Yep. Sorry, what are you saying, Robert?
I thought this would be an anticipated talk with you gentlemen.
Yes. Oh, I've been anticipating your call, Robert.
Okay.
You have?
I have.
Me too.
Keep your pants on. It's okay.
I'm not wearing pants.
TMI. All right. So what did you want to talk about today, Robert?
I believe we talked last week about you signing a document that stated you believed in God in this country.
I mean, me?
No, both of you.
Okay, why would I do that?
Every one of your, let's see, what are you called? They're saying you're calling you cells. That would be every cell that you have, that you're affiliated with?
Well, I'm more than affiliated with my cells. We know each other quite well.
Do you mean, like, biological, like the cells of my body?
Okay.
No, your offices.
My what?
In this country, your offices.
Well, I mean, at this point, I hope you have the power of prophecy, because I hope that we're able to help start
I don't know what the fuck's
community
going on.
organizations all over the United States, but at the present moment, we only have one location. It's at 1507 West Koenig Lane, and it's open 7 days a week.
Well, I think it's pretty awesome.
That's fine with me for the moment.
Oh.
Okay,
Hold on.
I'm living with it, but it's going to be more than that soon.
What's going on? You're talking past me. I'm new to this conversation. Bring me up to speed.
Okay. I believe it was the gentleman on the left there who we're talking to last week. And that would be you, Mr. Boone.
That is correct. Yep. Bingo.
Very good.
You got one.
And looks like Mr. Murphy is new to this conversation.
I am. Let's
he was out here last week. Yeah.
If you're watching the live stream, there's a significant delay. I would just go by the audio.
So the note says that you have a biblical argument for the existence of God.
Okay, this is I guess a good place to start. It could be fine. We're gonna do a dissertation on this. That the sole purpose of I have no volume. The sole purpose of this, I have no volume on this and I can't hear myself. But anyway, the sole purpose of this is the dissertation that God of the Bible, and I will include the Jewish nation and I will include the Muslim nation in this conversation.
All the Abrahamic traditions? Yeah.
Yes, we're talking about the Old Testament, the New Testament, and we're talking about the Muslim nation as a God.
So to be clear, are you talking about the Bible? Like this one right here?
The Quran, sir. And the Quran.
And the Quran. Okay, so all of the Abrahamic traditions are accurate? Is this what you're saying?
Well, the dissertation we have here is that the sole purpose of the Bible is that the entity God is just is here to protect us from our duality, which is evil and good.
How did you come to that conclusion?
Everybody has a little bit wrong with them, or they have a lot wrong with them. That would be extreme evil. And the purpose of the Bible, all its little rules and stories,
Now fucking remove that look right here.
of problems.
So to be clear, when you say the Bible, do you mean a book that is handed down through tradition, or do you mean a God has that purpose?
God is in that book, and that is his purpose.
Do you believe that God exists, like, in a real, tangible way outside of stories?
Yes, quite frankly, everybody in the community, religious communities, and that includes the three, do believe that.
You'd be surprised. We get a lot of different callers.
Yeah, you'd be surprised, but you believe that a God exists and that God's purpose is something or other. How did you come to the conclusion that a God exists?
Well, hold on. Actually, before we get there,
I believe the debate started last week about the present-day condition of the world.
Okay, so hold on. I'd like to jump in now that I'm in this discussion. So you talked about evil. What is evil?
Evil, let's see what definition was given here. Pretty much the harmful ways against innocent people, or if we want to talk about extreme evil, killing innocent people.
Okay, so I mean, I was raised in the Christian faith, and that's just about, can be classified as a thing that's evil. There are a lot of things that were considered evil at my church, but I mean, evil is a word that we use to describe, societal actions that can be disruptive to society, or that we just are morally against. But don't we define those things? I'll give you an example.
Yeah, go ahead.
Sure. So someone breaks into your house with the intent of murdering you.
That's evil.
Okay, and then kill them by protecting yourself.
That's self-defense.
Okay. So where I'm going with this is we have two murder. We have murder you successfully murder them. What's the difference there?
Okay, last game. Win, lose, draw, glitch, battle, the board, one
Self-defense
and rematch.
to robbing and murder.
Yeah, so, I mean, we're talking about killing, right? Either way, somebody died, right?
You can't discern the difference, sir?
Oh, I can. What I'm trying to get at is whether or not there is a physical, tangible thing called evil. Maybe we can measure it, maybe we can weigh it, maybe we can find out its qualities, because otherwise we're just describing things that we don't like, right?
Well, I'm sorry, listen, if you can't, the reality is if you can't understand the difference between evil and good, and what you displayed was a significant evil act betrayed upon an innocent person in their home, doesn't that make atheism a little, have a philosophical flaw by nature?
No, and it's also not what he just said, and that seems like a statement that you could have made before his last statement, but one that wouldn't logically follow if you actually listened to what he'd said.
So the reason why I'm saying this, Robert, is because I'm trying to break this down to where we can identify where we're seeing differences in what we qualify as good and evil, right? And what I really want to do is I really want to talk about the definition of good and the definition of evil, because at its core, they're not evidences of some larger thing. What they are words that we use to describe other things. So I'm not espousing my own worldview here. What I'm doing is I'm trying to come up with these scenarios and these different arguments to try and help you look at your own argument from different directions.
Very good. I'd like to change the word good in this dialogue and change the word to innocent, evil and innocent.
Okay. So
How do you discern the difference?
I'm more curious about this word evil, because it seems like, and please correct me if I'm wrong, you're using this word evil to get to a point about an existence of some other beings. Am I wrong about that?
Excuse me?
Are you using this argument, maybe I'm wrong, to say that there's the existence of a devil or a god, that there are some supernatural powers that are made up of good or evil, or innocent and evil?
I do not wish to debate the devil right now. That's a different topic that would take more consideration than the 18 minutes we have.
Sure. Well, and I honestly think that your God, or at least the Abrahamic God, is far more evil. So let's talk about that one.
Whatever.
Whatever. How many people?
I mean, do you have a question about the God of the Bible being evil that would make me consider your talk?
No, just read the thing.
What?
Read the Bible.
Read the damn Bible.
My question would be, do you read the Bible and find that the God of the Bible is not evil?
Yes, he's not evil. He protects the innocent.
So how many babies would you murder before you're considered evil?
Alright, gentlemen, I have a question. Can I counter with a question? Would that be fine?
Oh, well, hold on a
I'd
second.
actually like you to answer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How would I say, what would be evil? I'm looking at maybe 50 million would be considered the most evil thing I've ever seen.
Cool. In your books, your God wiped out every living thing in the planet, except for a family and a contingent of animals, right? Like, fucking everything.
That head on his head is
That's been disputed to this point.
What's been disputed?
Actually, since you...
That there was a global flood that's described in the Bible, in the story of Noah?
Yeah.
That's being disputed. Well, I'm
Do you
glad
believe
that you
that
understand.
happened?
If you believe that the Bible isn't true and all the story's true, how can you counter
Robert,
all the hard work?
Robert,
Use yourself.
Robert,
Go ahead.
Robert, do you believe that Noah's flood occurred?
No.
Okay. Do you believe that the Bible is literally true?
Yes.
Okay. Do you recognize that you've just said, hey, this book that says that Noah's flood happened is true, and also Noah's flood didn't happen?
Good call, Jamie.
I'm not quite aware of what I just said.
Okay.
But
do you see that those two statements on their face are contradictory?
yes.
Okay.
I'd like to quote as one of my resources is Joel Baden of the Yale Divinity School.
What's the quote?
That's just I'm just telling you guys something.
Okay.
Who I'm using as reference.
Yeah. It's good to cite your sources.
So also I'd like to use the Jimmy Swaggart Ministries and also important information to the project.
Yeah, let's bring in some Jimmy Swaggart.
Okay.
Do you have a particular thing you'd like to cite?
Also I'd like to use the Jimmy Swaggart Ministries as also important information into the project.
Yeah, let's bring in some
Jimmy
Jimmy
Swaggart, the
Swaggart.
adulterer.
Okay.
Do you have a particular thing you'd like to cite at the moment?
And I'd also like to take into consideration the Nantucket Project.
Jimmy Swaggart, the adulterer.
Okay, so either give us the sources or you're just listening.
No, thank you.
Those are the sources.
Yeah, thank you. We're happy to receive a bibliography, and that may sound incredibly sarcastic, but it's always nice to hear that someone is doing research.
Well, usually
we
you
like
say
to use those sources to cite what specifically?
Because you usually, when you're citing a source, say according to this.
Yeah. What is the thing you're citing?
What do you got?
What?
You've listed sources.
Dialogue, paperwork.
Dialogue.
Computer network. Okay, so you've brought up these sources. Are you referring to something specific from them?
Yes, it's supporting material I have with me.
Okay. Material that supports what specifically?
Claim that God is here to protect the innocent.
Cool.
An omniscient being has been protecting this world since the beginning of creation.
Okay, does your God
Can
know?
you make that case?
Excuse me?
So you have a claim that you would like to defend with argument and demonstrate to us so that we will believe it. That claim, as I understand it, is there is I don't know whether you said omniscient or omnipotent, but a very powerful being protecting innocence on this planet. Cool. Would you like to present your opening argument for that, or?
Let me see. All throughout Israel's history, God defended the people in miraculous ways. Is that correct?
I mean, are you asking me if I believe that?
Well, we're discussing the Bible, correct?
The book describes many battles between what it terms God's people and other people, and that God often instructs his people to genocide.
We can make moral judgments about that book and still disagree that that book is even true. Just like how I would say that Voldemort is evil in the Harry Potter books, right? I don't actually think that Harry Potter is real, but I can tell you that that character is evil.
Yeah. Sorry, there's something.
All right, can we?
Sauron.
Can I bring it to? We're going to go into the 19th century now. History.
Actually, I'd like to hold you to the stories in the book describe a God that protects the innocent, because whether or not you want to blanketly call the people of Israel innocent, as depicted in that book, the God of the Bible also, according to that book, allows them to be subjected to slavery and suffering and diaspora in that book. We don't even have to get to the mid-20th century for that.
We're going to have to leave the Israel Bible because we're going to have to discuss the 19th century in Christianity now.
No, I think you're going to defend whether or not. Okay. So the God depicted in the Bible not only instructs and carries out genocide, he allows his people, God's people, to be subjected to slavery and diaspora. Again, all this is within the text of the Bible. Do you think that that is a depiction of a God that defends the innocent?
If you're quite aware, it was the civilizations that surrounded Israel that subjected them to slavery.
No. Is God powerful enough to free them from slavery, as it's said in the book?
Yes, he did.
All right, cool. Why did he let it happen in the first place if he is there to defend them?
Things take time. Is that a good answer for you?
No. Because if you have God's outside of time.
Yeah, if you have the well, hold on.
According to the book.
Yeah. So if you have the power to wiggle your pinky finger and fix world hunger with no negative consequences to yourself, would you do it?
I would have to go with the Old Testament, the fact that man by nature has a duality. God gave you...
I just asked you a question.
I just did.
Okay, so let me ask it again because obviously you didn't hear it.
As you wanted it, you would still have evil in this world.
I didn't ask that question.
Problem.
Robert, listen. No, listen.
Yes.
Listen.
Go ahead.
Okay, so if you and solve world hunger or cure all disease on this planet with no ill effect to yourself, would you do that?
Yes.
Okay. How come your God doesn't?
Because God knows more than I do.
No, it's because you're a better moral actor than your God.
No, I'm not.
You are. Yeah. Could you name somebody who can watch suffering, murder, and death? Could you watch someone who could stop disease, hunger, famine, and rape, and then say that that person is a moral actor if they could prevent it?
I don't know how God could literally change. Since God gave us the freedom of will, he would have to change everybody's mind.
Let me jump in here real quick and see if I can bring this point home. Robert, can God solve world hunger?
No.
Okay, so there is a thing that God is not powerful enough to do.
Because man disorder changes everything good.
In the Bible, it tells a story of God's people wandering in the desert and God feeding them.
That's correct.
Do you believe that this Bible accurately describes the characteristics of God?
Yes.
Okay, do you believe that God changes? Specifically, do you believe that God gets less powerful over time?
Oh, no, quite frankly, he transferred the power.
So presumably he would still have that power.
That is correct.
So, do you believe that God, as depicted in the Bible, the one that you believe in, could end world hunger?
Yes, he could.
Okay. Do you believe that it would be good to end world hunger?
Yes, I do.
Alright, do you believe that your God is good?
Yes, I do.
I don't see how, if you reflect on those, you can look at that and not see the contradiction between a God that can solve world hunger, a God that is good, and a God that doesn't solve world hunger.
Okay, I'll answer it, because if he did put the food out there, somebody would try to steal it anyway.
If there's food for everybody, then how does that make any sense at all, Robert?
Yeah.
And we're not talking about a food that people are trying to steal. We're not all going to share a food. It would be enough food to feed the world.
Multiply an amount of 2 loaves to feed whatever amount of people that God wanted to feed?
What if you because of jealousy, innate actions of man, which is jealousy. What if you saw what your neighbor had and said you wanted his food?
Do you believe that humans are strong enough collectively to thwart God?
I think evil people could attempt.
Would they succeed?
Hurt innocent people. Does that make sense?
That makes sense as a dodge, but it makes sense as a But
right.
Yeah. Do you think that humans are stronger collectively than God?
No, I do not.
Okay, so if God wanted everyone to be fed, could God make that happen?
Yes.
Okay. Would it be good for everyone to be fed?
Yes.
Is God good?
Yes.
Why isn't everyone fed?
Because somebody would become jealous and try to take what's next to them.
Okay.
Just
Good
worse.
enough reason? Yeah, which is worse? A person being jealous or a person starving to death?
Well, people kill over food, people kill over money.
Because there's not enough.
What?
People kill when there's not enough food. If you put two people in a room and you give them food for one person, that gives them a motivation to fight. If you put two people in a room and you give them enough food for 10 people, they have no reason to fight over it. Because there's enough. They can both become obese or whatever.
I would disagree with that statement.
Enlighten me.
What is there to disagree with?
Yeah.
If everybody in the room had food, why would they fight over the other person's food?
Exactly.
Come on,
They
you
wouldn't.
goddamn son of a bitch.
Because that's man.
No. You're ascribing a nature to humanity that doesn't exist.
Son of a bitch.
Objection. Facts not in evidence.
Yeah, I mean, really, dude. And you've said a couple things that I just do not want to let you get away with. I'm sorry, but I really need to catch you here. You said something about free will, right? That God gave us free will and that's why we're here?
God fucking damn it.
We were created with free will, that's correct.
Okay, is there, so, and are you saying that because there's free will is why we have a fallen world? Is that correct?
Jesus fucking Christ.
That is correct.
Okay, is there free will in heaven?
That is correct also.
Is there suffering in heaven?
That is incorrect.
Okay, let me ask you a couple other, let's see, disease, hunger,
Christ.
rape, torture, those kinds of things. None of those?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so are you saying there exists a place where people could be that does not have all of those things? Famine, hunger, disease, rape, torture, all of that, right?
Yes, you're accurate in your statements, but the kingdom of heaven doesn't exist in a physical realm to begin with.
Okay, so hold on, follow me here. Do you have free will in heaven?
Yes.
Okay, so God can create a place where there's free will and not disease, famine, torture, rape, and all of that. God can make that place.
Incorrect.
But you just said that's the quality of heaven. So please tell me.
We don't live in heaven.
Can you live in heaven?
Earth. We don't live in heaven. We were created on earth.
Okay, hold on. So is there something fundamentally different about you between earth and heaven?
The same as every Christian, every person that believes in God, no.
Okay, so then what is the difference, man? Well, you just described a place that you said cannot exist, so it's one or the other.
Heaven is above earth. It's a different realm. Why do you need explanation?
No, I don't need your explanation about heaven, Robert. I need your explanation on how you can say that God can create a place without all of this suffering and free will, and then say, there's all this suffering because of free will. How do you get there?
First of all, in the creation story, Eden fell, which means we were literally in heaven, but for some reason that needs to be talked about, something occurred. A dynamic that changed man's place on earth.
Okay, why would God create people who could do that?
Free will.
Free will, just like in heaven, where people can do whatever they want and not suffer and be in torment, right? That place?
Earth. Heaven on earth, it was, yeah.
Okay, so how come it can exist in heaven and not on earth? You just said free will's the difference, and you just told me free will exists in heaven. How?
Like, once again, earth is the ground, heaven is a different plane of existence.
Okay, so
body, as we know it, earth is based upon food.
Let me try just one question.
Please.
All right, Robert, I'm thinking of a place where humans live and they have free will. Based on that information alone, can you tell me whether or not there is suffering there?
There is suffering on earth, that is correct.
No. There is a place I'm thinking of that I haven't told you the name of yet. There are humans there, they have free will. Do you know whether or not the place I'm thinking of has human suffering? No, the place I'm thinking of. Is there suffering in any place where humans exist and have free will?
I cannot read your mind, gentlemen.
Okay, so here, let me see if I can find.
We're talking about Planet Jamie here.
Yeah, so there is a location, right?
God damn it.
There is a plane of being. It is a realm. You do not know what that realm is yet, but I will give you some information about that realm and see if you can, from that information, bring a conclusion. So, for example, if I said, oh, it's the realm where humans were created, you would be able to say, yes, that's Earth. Or if I said, oh, it's the realm where good Christians live after they're dead, or whatever the correct phrasing is for what you believe, you would be able to say that that's heaven. The information that I'm giving you about the realm that I'm thinking of is humans live there, and humans have free will. Can you tell me whether or not that realm is heaven or earth?
Are you discussing the atheistic view of the world?
No, I'm asking you whether or not you can tell me the difference, right? Okay, in heaven, humans live and have free will, correct?
They're not here. Technically, it's heaven. They're not humans. We're talking about two different fields of existence. Once again.
Okay. So when a human being dies on Earth, does that human being stop existing?
No.
Okay. That human being continues to exist somewhere or somehow or in some realm. Correct?
That is correct.
Okay. So that human being then continues their existence in heaven. Does something change? Yeah, does something change?
Where?
That is dead.
The spirit? No.
Okay.
And that is what is the deliverer, what our makeup is.
So there is a spirit, and it is alive, and it has free will, and there's a bunch of spirits around it that are alive, and they have free will. Are they subject to suffering because of that? Is that enough?
No, they're not.
Okay. So what is it that causes the suffering if it's not free will? Earth. Okay, so what you're saying is, oh no, it's not that humans have free will that causes suffering, it's that we live on Earth that causes suffering.
No, it's our duality of nature in the creation story. We make each other suffer.
Cool. So in heaven, if humans were to have free will, would they not be able to make each other suffer there as well?
No, they would not.
So what you're saying is there's this good and loving God that created human beings in this way and then sent them to a place where they can suffer for a little while, for, a few decades, and then later they'll get to go to a place where they won't suffer. Is that a correct description?
Yeah, I would say the best way to explain that is, since we are newborn here, yes, we are new like little infants, and after we pass away, we go to heaven. Yes, we are new here.
Okay. And this, in your mind, the actions of a good and loving God is the God that sends humans to Earth or creates humans on Earth so they can suffer for a while before they can go to heaven, as opposed to
Once again, I will refer to Genesis and the creation story.
I have the Bible in front of me. We're talking to you, Robert. Yeah. What do you get out of it?
Then you're ignoring the facts that I'm giving you.
You're talking about the Bible. You're not talking about facts.
Well, that's in your opinion.
It is like my opinion.
Can I move it a little bit?
No, Robert, no. You're like a beautiful butterfly. You've spread your wings, and I'm pinning you now. So here's the pin. is you said two things that cannot exist at the same time. That's called cognitive dissonance. And it's weird and it's awkward.
Fucking
And that's
dumb.
okay. Because when you find yourself in a place where you can't justify those two things, that gives you the